Welcome for those who just joined. It is Wednesday, May 14th, and I'm super grateful to be live with you today and just to be here to serve. So Natalie is currently in Budapest. We actually did an event in Romania yesterday and said it was amazing. If you're not already, follow Essential Emotions on the socials if you want to stay plugged in to all the cool things that are happening there. You said the group there was just incredible, though. Such good energy. So they are headed to Germany today. They'll be doing 2 events in Germany and then heading over to Rome and then wrapping up in Amsterdam. So cool to watch the movement grow, to watch people just give us feedback every single event, just how much this breakthrough process is changing their lives, how grateful they are. So fun to connect with people of all different backgrounds. It's just incredible. doTERRA is a pretty amazing equalizer. So it is mid-May. Hopefully you are progressing toward your goals for this month. Hopefully you're clear and being intentional and creating momentum. That is the sacred, the watchword, right? The thing we're all going for is momentum. For those who don't already know about it, Experience doTERRA is happening this weekend. We've got a really great group coming in. It's going to be fantastic. So that's this Friday and Saturday here in Utah. Go to experiencedoterra.com if you want to get details on that. It's just a fantastic way to introduce new prospects to doTERRA, but also to invigorate past builders or people who once thought about building. Doesn't have to be just brand new prospects. So it's going to be great. experiencedoterra.com. All right. Well, let's go ahead and open this up to questions. Go ahead and raise your hand so we can have a chat this morning. And I'd love to know how I can best serve you. What's been coming up for you over the past week? What are the blocks? What are the barriers? Where do you find yourself getting stuck? Go ahead and raise your hand or put your questions in the chat. We could talk mind blocks. We could talk emotions. We could talk technology. We could talk financial blocks. Whatever's coming up for you. We could have it be Tech Wednesday if anybody wants to just go deep on AI and all the cool options out there right now. Oh, we have a quiet group this morning. Karina says, yeah. So until someone raises their hand, I'm just going to share a few of the ways that that we use AI. It might be the biggest shift in our generation. Is just the massive expansion and possibilities with AI. So some of the many ways we use it, we obviously we run a lot of events, and every every event requires marketing, it requires communication, and it requires follow-up. And so we use AI to we just put in like a rough outline of what we want the content of the marketing, of the email, of the follow-up to be. And then ChatGPT helps us flesh it out. We train it on our voice. It knows us really well now in terms of like how to speak the doTERRA lingo, how to be, like you can tell it like so specifically the tone that you want, the length that you want. So that's one way we use it. A lot of our team members are using it to just help phrase some of their languaging, like if they're inviting to a class, they might help use that. They also, I use a lot of AI with image generation. I used to pay thousands of dollars every year for stock photography subscription, and now I just use AI. It's so cool. We've used it a little bit for graphic design, but it's still not quite there yet. We're also using some AI for translation. It does a good first draft, and then we have humans review and edit. We use it, I mean, pretty much everything we used to Google, we now just run through ChatGPT. So, yesterday, the other day, Natalie's in Europe, and her computer won't start. And so instead of Googling it and spending 5-10 minutes sifting through garbage results, she just Googles, my MacBook Pro won't start. What do I do? Boom, problem solved. So it's great. I use it all the time for a lot of my tech issues. Yeah, I see in the comments, Shell uses it for planning. Yes, we pay for it. So there is a free version, but if you want the latest, greatest, and if you want to keep your search results behind a curtain, so to speak, like if you don't want the questions you're asking to inform the public. So like for us, we use the essential motions content, and we don't want that to just become public domain. And so we pay for an enterprise version that keeps that protected. Shelley says she used Gemini. I'd love to use them here in the comments. What other tools you guys are using and how it's serving you. Shelley says, I use AI to help with presentations. I just did a 40-slide presentation for the International Medical, Dental, and Hypnotherapy, ASSN, on the power of rose essential oils. Works so great. Yeah, it really is just mind-blowing how effective and how spot on it is. It's pretty great. So there are probably 100 different AI engines, maybe 1,000. I mean, at this point. So Gemini is one, ChatGPT is another. So I'm not going to do a deep dive on what all of them are. There's some great videos out there if you just want to Google, what are the top AI tools. Obviously, there's the text tools, but then there's also graphic tools. So one of them that I use is called Midjourney. Midjourney is great for making illustrations. Yeah, it's really insane. Kathy says, I use it for hooks, catchy title, and long keywords for my videos and SM posts. Yeah, ChatGPT is so great for social media. So if you just tell it kind of who you are and what you want. Like let's say you're going to focus on metabolic health. And so you're going all in with, you know, reverse aging, metabolism. And then you can say, give me a 20-day social media campaign based on that with doTERRA as my focus. And boom, it'll give you such incredible content. So yeah, even if you just use it as the skeleton and then you add your own little personality. I mean, once you get it trained, it'll start to use your verbiage and your tone. But it's fantastic. It's so cool. Karina says, "What's going on with Up Level 21?" It is alive and well. It's still being run and managed by Chelsea Woods. So I'll just share my screen. So here is Up Level 21. So for those of you who don't know what it is, it's basically a challenge where for 21 days we help you create healthy habits, and it integrates with doTERRA's top wellness products. So you use habit stacking, and here are the main habits that we stack. And it starts the first of every month, and they have cash prizes. So it's really, really cool. It's going great. Oh, I didn't know they took me off. Sorry. Sounds like you know more than I do. Okay, somebody said, I'm trying to find my niche, and I find my customers is different than my builder. Yeah, absolutely. The customer, your customer strategy should be very different from your builder strategy. And so it's totally great to have a different niche. I know one presidential diamond, Melody Watts, who her key avatar for builders is chiropractors. And so she knows that every chiropractor is basically a slave to their 9 to 5, and there's no time freedom in sight. And so knowing that, she's created messaging, and I think she's even created some material that she uses to help to approach them and to make the case like, hey, you want time freedom? Here's how. And so doTERRA is the tool and the vehicle that she partners with to help those builders come in. Now, the customers would be totally different, because if the builders are the chiropractors, the customers would be their clients. So yeah, it's great to have totally different niches for builders, different from what you have for customers. Okay. Any other questions have come through? Oh, Jeff confirmed that Up Level 21 refunded my money, saying they are going through an update this month. Okay, so I guess they're doing a pause and getting some upgrades for the month of May. All right, other questions? Go ahead and put them in the chat or raise your hand. All right, questions? We can keep talking tech. We could talk money blocks. We could talk essential emotions. You guys call it. We could also talk summer. as the school year is wrapping up, for at least for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere. And so what are your plans for building momentum, keeping momentum through the summer months? We go that direction if anybody wants to. Allison says money blocks. Okay, well, I'm happy to go there. Jess says path to 500. Crystal says I really want to hit it hard this summer. Not sure where to begin. Okay, sounds great. We'll start. We'll just go in order. So money blocks. Money is such a funny thing. We give it so much power and energy, as if money itself had any kind of I don't know, mystical power. Do you know what I mean? Like most people I talk to, when I ask them, how do you feel about money? They go into, yeah, just lots of shame triggers, lots of most of them are worthiness triggers. And so money is neutral, and money is like water. Money is like a hammer. The water flows, and the river doesn't care if it's low or high. And like a hammer, if I were to tell you, you just won 1,000,000 hammers, and we dropped off 1,000,000 hammers in your driveway, would you get excited? Probably not, because most people don't need 1,000,000 hammers. Hammers are they're nice, but they're just a tool, and so is money. Money is a neutral tool that can be used. It can be used for good. It can be used for evil. It's by itself is totally neutral. So most of the coaching that I do around money blocks is helping people get to that neutral space around money. How can I build my relationship with it in a way that I'm not acting out of fear, I'm not acting out of shame, and I'm not acting out of a sense of unworthiness, but instead I'm coming from a space of creation. So money is just one way to measure what we've created. And so I believe that each of us is a limitless creator, that we were born to create. Creation runs in our blood. And so as soon as we fall in love with creation, and as soon as we focus on creating massive value, then value will naturally flow back to us. And then we don't have to worry about, am I enough? And do I have enough? As long as we're using a vehicle like doTERRA, where if you're creating value, then value comes back to you, then then money, it's kind of like air, right? When we don't have enough air, like if you're drowning, then air is all you care about, and you will claw your way to get to air. You'll do anything in your power to get enough air. But once you've been breathing, and it's not a struggle, then you don't think about it. When was the last time you thought about, oh my gosh, I don't have enough air? It's the same with money. So getting into the flow of using your strengths, focusing on creation. How can I serve? How can I solve big problems? I love what Elon Musk said. You get paid in proportion to the size of the problems that you solve. And so if we're solving really small problems, like, I don't know, cleaning for people is, usually it's a small problem. And so that's why cleaners don't get paid as much as people who invent electric car companies like Elon. Like that's solving a really big problem. It's meeting a really big need. So so that's why when we coach people in doTERRA, we have them focus on what are people's biggest needs? Where is their biggest pain? Is it financial? Is it time? Is it health? And serving from the space of their biggest need is how you will get the greatest results. You'll get the greatest customer engagement, the greatest builder engagement, and you will create the most value so it can flow back to you. So that is my 5-minute spiel on money blocks. I do have a very long training that I did. If you go to sharesuccess.com/financial, there's a recording about clearing your financial blocks. I'll just drop that link in here. And so that's free. There's no charge. I did that years ago. And same principles still apply. So if you want to, go check that out, sharesuccess.com/financial. Okay, next question from Jess is path to 500. So many of you have probably watched trainings on the comp plan upgrades that we're getting. There's a lot of minutia. There's a lot to focus on if you're not careful, and it's easy to get into the weeds. So what the path to 500 is just power 3. I mean, you can kind of buffer with fast starts, but most of your 500 is going to come, especially if you're looking to create a residual 500, not just a couple of times 500. It's all power 3. So basically just building out your front line and then the next level with 3 pods of 500, boom, you've got your 500 locked in. So it's really that simple. It's so dang cool how doTERRA is making it so accessible and so much easier to get there. Less restrictions. Like it doesn't have to be 3 people on 100. It could be any number of people that just adds up to 500. So now all the little orders count. I mean, you might sign up one family and the mom and dad and maybe a couple kids are on the foundational wellness. Boom, there's that pot of 500. So it's incredible. It's really cool how simple the path to 500 has become. All right, Crystal says, I want to hit it hard this summer, but feeling I'm not sure where to begin. So historically, summer has been a time when people take their focus off of in-home classes and one-on-ones because families are on vacations, there's reunions, there's trips, and just general summer, right? Kids are in sports camps, other youth adventures, and just gardening, being outside and not wanting to. I don't know. There's just a lot of reasons to be distracted. But the good news is that doesn't mean your team has to slow down. Doesn't mean your volume has to drop. Summer is a great time to gather with moms in the park. Summer is a great time to connect with relatives at family reunions. It's a fantastic time to be in the flow of just moving with the needs. So maybe, I mean, I know a woman on our team. She's a diamond, and she created a whole class around gardening with essential oils. How cool is that you could, I mean, it's so niche, right? It's so focused in. but that's what she's doing, and it's worked great. In fact, last time I saw her, she was here and told me that she's created a way to feed her chickens using essential oils to keep them healthy, and it's been a total game changer. She used to have tons of issues with the chicken's health, and now with oils, it's all better. She created an ebook to that topic. If any of you are interested, just search it up. I think it's on Kindle. Her name is Connie Boucher. I don't even know the title of the ebook, but just if you search up Connie Boucher and chickens, I'll bet you'll find it. So summer is a great time to go out and serve people where they are. And so you might have less success with classes and maybe more one-on-ones, or maybe the classes shift to meetups in the park. Maybe it's some spa days. Summertime, after especially July, August, moms are ready for a break from the kids. And so spa nights are going to work extra well, I think, in July and August. So those are my tips for summer momentum. And if I'd love to hear other people's ideas too. What do you do to keep momentum strong in the summer months? Experience doTERRA. We have great numbers in the summer. So, as you're having conversations, inviting people to take a look at the business, invite them to experience doTERRA. Everybody loves a chance to travel, and Utah is gorgeous in the summer. Great hikes, everything's green. It's beautiful. And we'll be opening up the pool here pretty soon, and that'll be part of the Saturday experience. All right, Ashley. As far as the money blocks, I think that's what Karina is mentioning. There's a book by Mel Robbins called Let Them, and she says it has some great stuff in there about money. Natalie listened to that audiobook and absolutely loved it. She says there was a lot less cussing than most of Mel's content, so she really enjoyed that. So go check that out. Let Them by Mel Robbins. Okay, Ashley says, can you talk about the balance of creation, but also surrendering to God? I've felt stuck for so long. How do you know if it's you or him? Ooh, this is a juicy one. So this is the work, and this is the great challenge, right? To be in creation, but at what point do you put it on the altar, so to speak, and offer it up and let God, right? Gosh. I think every day gets to be an exercise in taking your loaves and your fishes, however small they are, and just basically putting it on the altar and saying, that's all I got for today. Can you make it enough? I want to, there's one of my favorite mentors and coaches right now is a woman named Tamara Runia, Runia. And she recently shared this message where she invited you, and for those of you who are not Christian, that's great. Whoever the God is of your understanding, you can do this exercise. She said, imagine yourself as you're praying at the end of the day. She said, imagine that the Savior, Jesus, is next to you, and he's praying to the Father for you. What would he say for you or about you? What would his words be on behalf of you? And I just invite each of you to do that exercise tonight. So give it your best during the day, give everything you got. And then tonight, as you're praying, I want you to do that exercise and see what comes up for you. And I would be shocked. I would be absolutely stunned if your experience wasn't a very positive experience. As you imagine your offering of all of your efforts this day being placed on the altar, and then listening to what Jesus would pray for you, I think it'll be a positive experience. So maybe let's return and report on that one next Wednesday. So I know that's a really vague answer, Ashley. Every person's path is going to be so unique. The only thing I know is that I don't feel like God expects us to run faster than we have strength. And I know that he loves effort. And so if we give our best effort and then we truly detach, right? Just we've talked so many times about non-attachment. And if we just, as you know, leaving it on the altar is a whole nother topic. I think that's where, we talked about Cain and Abel, and I think that's where Cain struggled, was he was attached to his offering. He wasn't able to exercise true offering, true sacrifice, in the sense of this is my gift. I give it willingly. I give it with all my heart, and I'm not attached to whether you accept it or not. It's on the altar regardless, and that's my gift. I think that's the exercise, and I think, yeah, that's what I would say to that. Okay. Joan says, if I only have 2 people on the front line that are personally enrolled, but at $250 P, does that, plus my 100, does that meet the new requirements for Power of 3? So as long as your front line's LRP volume adds up to 500, then that pod is complete. So we don't need to, so, you said plus my 100 order. So we don't factor in your volume into that pod's requirement anymore. So that's one of the big shifts, and it takes a minute to get used to. But as long as you have 2 people at 250, then you're good. That's your 500. It used to be that you needed 3 people to complete a pod. Not anymore. 2 on 250 is good. 1 person at 500 is good. So it's so cool how flexible it's gotten. Okay. Karina has a great comment there. So if you can, go read that about seeds and planting and letting it grow. Okay. All right, we have a question that came through on Facebook. Adrian asks, when will Seth's new tear sheet be available? So I don't know if we've talked too much about this on this call. We did share with our diamonds. Seth and us have been working on a new class. It's actually based on Dr. Casey Means' book, Good Energy. Some of you know that Casey was recently nominated to be the next US Surgeon General. So pretty dang cool that we have a class that's based around her philosophy, her content, what she thinks we need to do to fix health in America. So in terms of when that will be available, we are hoping to have that ready next week. That is our target. It's going to be a big push. It's going to take a small miracle, but I believe in miracles. And so we're going to, we're going to create to that end. So great question. All right. Let's see. Her name is Dr. Casey Means. And I think, Esther, you might be from outside of America. Her message really is to Americans. She's tracking all of the trends in America and our health. And so it's a very US based message. I think it's a universal message, but I think Americans are about doing as poorly as anyone in the world in terms of metabolic health and just inflammation in general, all the things that lead to inflammation. So Dr. Casey Means, Good Energy is her book. If you haven't read her book, go check it out. Good Energy. It's a great, great read. She's also done some great podcasts with Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson. Just go search on YouTube for Dr. Casey Means. There was a great interview that she did. Let me see if I can find it. It was just, I think it was pretty recently. That, you know, when she was being nominated for U.S. Attorney General. Here it is. Okay. So if you're watching this on replay, I apologize. I don't know how to get you this link. Hopefully you can find it. The name of the reel is Reel by Mama Got Woke AF. So maybe just search Casey Means and that, and it's pretty epic. And if nobody has any questions currently, maybe we'll pause and watch that because it is worthy.
Who would think that the American...
Okay. Yeah, I don't see any questions right now, so it looks like we're going to watch this. So let me see if I can share with audio. Here we go.
American healthcare system and our government agencies would be clamoring to fix metabolic health and reduce American suffering and costs. But they're not. They are deafeningly silent about metabolic dysfunction and its known causes. It's not an overstatement to say that I learned virtually nothing at Stanford Medical School about the tens of thousands of scientific papers that elucidate these root causes of why American health is plummeting and how environmental factors are causing it. For instance, in medical school, I did not learn that for each additional serving of ultra-processed food we eat, early mortality increases by 18%. This now makes up 67% of the foods our kids are eating. I took 0 nutrition courses in medical school. I didn't learn that 82% of independently funded studies show harm from processed food, while 93% of industry-sponsored studies reflect no harm. In medical school, I didn't learn that 95% of the people who created the recent USDA food guidelines for America had significant conflicts of interest with the food industry. I did not learn that 1 billion pounds of synthetic pesticides are being sprayed on our food every single year. 99% of the farmland in the United States is sprayed with synthetic pesticides, many from China and Germany. And these invisible, tasteless chemicals are strongly linked to autism, ADHD, sex hormone disruption, thyroid disease, sperm dysfunction, Alzheimer's, dementia, birth defects, cancer, obesity, liver dysfunction, female infertility, and more, all by hurting our metabolic health. I did not learn that the 8 billion tons of plastic that have been produced just in the last 100 years, plastic was only invented about 100 years ago, are being broken down into microplastics that are now filling our food, our water, and we are now even inhaling them in our air. And that very recent research from just the past couple of months tells us that now about 0.5% of our brains by weight are now plastic. I didn't learn that there are more than 80,000 toxins that have entered our food, water, air, and homes by industry, many of which are banned in Europe. And they are known to alter our gene expression, alter our microbiome composition and the lining of our gut, and disrupt our hormones. I didn't learn that heavy metals like aluminum and lead are present in our food, our baby formula, personal care products, our soil, and many of the mandated medications like vaccines, and that these metals are neurotoxic and inflammatory. I didn't learn that the average American walks a paltry 3,500 steps per day, even though we know, based on science and top journals, that simply walking 7,000 steps a day slashes by 40 to 60% our risk of Alzheimer's, dementia, type 2 diabetes, cancer, and obesity. I certainly did not learn that medical error and medications are the third leading cause of death in the United States. I didn't learn that just 5 nights of sleep deprivation can induce full-blown prediabetes. I learned nothing about sleep, and we're getting about 20% less sleep on average than we were 100 years ago. I didn't learn that American children are getting less time outdoors now than a maximum security prisoner. And on average, adults spend 93% of their time indoors, even though we know from the science that separation from sunlight destroys our circadian biology, and circadian biology dictates our cellular biology. I didn't learn that professional organizations that we get our practice guideline from, like the American Diabetes Association and American Academy of Pediatrics, have taken tens of millions of dollars from Coke, Cadbury, processed food companies, and vaccine manufacturers like Moderna. I didn't learn that if we address these root causes that all lead to metabolic dysfunction and help patients change their food and lifestyle patterns with a united, strong voice, we could reverse the chronic disease crisis in America, save millions of lives and trillions of dollars in healthcare costs per year. Instead, doctors are learning that the body is 100 separate parts, and we learn how to drug, we learn how to cut, and we learn how to bill. I'll close by saying that what we are dealing with here is so much more than a physical health crisis. This is a spiritual crisis. We are choosing death over light. We are choosing death over life. We are choosing darkness over light for people and the planet, which are inextricably linked. We are choosing to erroneously believe that we are separate from nature and that we can continue to poison nature and then outsmart it. Our path out will be a renewed respect for the miracle of life and a renewed respect for nature. We can restore health to Americans rapidly with smart policy and courageous leadership. We need a return to courage. We need a return to common sense and intuition. We need a return to awe for the sheer miraculousness of our lives. We need all hands on deck. Thank you.
Did you figure it out?
What do you think? I've never been more excited, if I can be honest, about the future of America and what she wants to do for our health. She is the right person for the job, the right time. So dang exciting. So hopefully you felt that too. I mentioned earlier, Sherry, if you just go to Facebook and search up, so I put the link up higher in the chat. I'll put it again here. But if you're watching this on replay, the reel is called Real by Mama Got Woke AF. So I don't know if you can find it that way or not, but that's the name of it. So good, right? So good. Yeah, I also love what RFK is doing to help reduce toxic load, to just help America get healthy again. I mean, I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. I think we can all agree that we got some work to do. Americans are not in great shape in general, and so it's so stinking exciting. And yeah, so her stuff is what the class that Seth and us have been working on is based on. So Jennifer says, I've been watching her for at least 6 months. I agree. She headed the getting the artificial coloring out of cereals and other foods. Love that. So dang good. Somebody's asking if she's on YouTube as well. I'm sure she is. I don't know if that particular clip is. I'm sure you can find it if you look. So, any other questions or thoughts before we wrap? All right, I don't see any other questions, so thank you so much for hopping on and joining us today. As we said, so Jeff says, when will new class be available? We're shooting for next week. It's optimistic, but our optimism has served us really well, and we believe in miracles. So that's the plan and that's the hope. So thank you again so much. Sending love and blessings to each of you, and expecting miracles on your behalf. So make it a great day. See you next week.